What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? So we're like 4 days into the marathon alpha. I played all day the first day, non-stop, did not stop playing the first day. Second day, I put in about half the hours. Third day, lowered it to a bit. Not because I started to hate or dislike anything. It was just like I felt like I did what I wanted to in this alpha. And in terms of content and, you know, not everyone being able to play because it's a closed alpha, figured I would just cut back now, not burn out, not do anything crazy, and then wait to see the next updates. They said they'll probably end up doing more alphas, which is good. So these are my takes coming out of this alpha. There has been so much. Initially, there was a crazy amount of drama, which is the only reason they lifted the NDA so we could stream it, was because they were worried about how people were viewing the gameplay, which really we didn't have much gameplay at all. I will say, in my point of view, it looks like in the past few days that negativity has kind of stopped because people are finally acknowledging, for one, that this is an alpha and they expected to make changes. Like, they're ready to go and make changes. Well, they're saying, at least. We'll see. It seems like they already did patch some stuff, so it seems like they're actually going to. And then on top of it, it also seems like a lot of the people that were complaining weren't even extraction shooter players. It was like Destiny players came over and thought the game should be catered to how they viewed an extraction shooter, which I thought was weird. Same thing with Call of Duty players. It was mainly like Warzone players and streamers and content creators that were doing the same thing. Now look, if you're not an extraction shooter player, you aren't really into Tarkov, you aren't really into ABI, you aren't really into, you know, there's like 3 or 4 now. If you aren't really into them, if they aren't your style of game, then your complaints and your expectations are kind of, in my mind, irrelevant. It's not your style of game. I don't, there's tons of genres of games that I'm not really into, and I don't ever complain and say I don't like something because of this and this when I just don't like the genre. You're giving false feedback and it's not valuable. So hopefully that is also what we're seeing, is those players are kind of just going back to their normal games, which is fine. Now I want to talk about really the things that I feel like this game needs to change and probably will change. And from the feedback from a lot of the big content creators, what they've, you know, put out, I've seen kind of the same feedback, similar feedback. I have, just for like reference, I'm not a Tarkov only player. I'm a big Smite guy, right? I played Smite for probably 20,000 hours, but I have another 10 in World of Warcraft, 10,000 hours. I've got, I don't know, 3,000 hours in Tarkov. I played ABI. I played a lot of different games. I'm a shooter gamer into an MMO gamer into Smite, and then back to shooters is kind of how I've been with my video game career, I guess, and content, everything else. So first thing we need to talk about is the aim assist. Aim assist on mouse keyboard feels weird. A friend of mine that I played all my games with, he turned it off. It was so uncomfortable with it that he just turned it off. It's not necessary on mouse and keyboard. The real balancing comes from reducing it enough on controller that it isn't making the game free to play on controller. Like they, you know, Apex at one point was basically everyone just swapped to controller because it was so easy to play. Call of Duty, same thing. You need to balance the controller side and kind of just let mouse and keyboard be the standard and try to balance everything up to that, because once you start adding aim assist to mouse and keyboard, it's just weird. It's too easy and you lose out on a lot of the outplay potential. A lot of the other stuff might be more preference or just like quality of life things. Like for me, I think making it so you can loot your downed teammates is big. And right now, the way they have it set up is you have to res your teammate. You can't go into their bag. There was multiple fights where being able to loot one of our teammates' guns and use that gun to fight whatever was left, get the ammo, whatever it is, would have completely changed the fight, which is actually a really big thing in other games. Tarkov, teammate dies, you have a really long drawn out fight. A lot of the time I'll just swap to their guns, or I'll pick up their gun so I can swap to it when I'm ready for it, right? That is, I guess, a mix of quality of life and just like how team fights will play out. If you change that, I think it would be better for the game. I think resing teammates should not be a match long event. If your teammates aren't res within 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 4 minutes of them full dying, 5 max, then they're timed out. They can't be res. They're gone. So people can camp the bodies. Realistically, just make sure you can't res. That's how it should be. You should be more than likely looking to extract if you're not going to fight them, right? Not waiting to res your teammates. It becomes like a ratty BR situation with the way that resing teammates just last. I'm guessing they didn't plan on leaving it like this, but it definitely's got to change 100%. If they didn't, no one's acknowledged it, that needs to change. early game weapon variety is complete trash. The starter AR is terrible, as it should be. The problem is it's pretty much the only gun you're gonna use because the starter Magnum is a little bit into the start and it's really not worth using. It's no better. It's a single shot pistol. And then once you get into the other weapons, now granted you can get other weapons for playing the game. I didn't use the starter AR the whole time. The first 10 hours of the game, I think we died 4 times total in 10 hours. And I had tons of guns in my inventory, but the variety wasn't really there. When I got the variety, it was like an HPR, which was broken, right? Or like the DMR style rifles, the snipers that you keep shooting, super broken. Like those 2 style of weapons just are insane over everything. The shotgun, really, really good up close. So if you have a shotgun and some, an HPR, you pretty much have an unstoppable weapon combo. That's awesome. And that's not even a late game combo, but you can hit it if you find the stuff, but you can't buy the stuff. So it ends up making fighting really, really weird, in my opinion. I think they need to rework the weapon system. Not altogether, but like lower it. You can buy this, and this gun at the start. Then, 20 levels in, it adds in another weapon or 2, and you can buy these 5 guns as your starter weapons. And really, weapon enhancement and upgrades and building your guns wasn't really a thing, right? Like it didn't exist. You might find some stuff, but you didn't get to pick and choose how your gun was playing out. Or even in early Tarkov, like level 10, you're building out an early game gun to use that min maxes whatever you want to do. That doesn't exist right now in the game. Really, really hope that they change that, because that's just a fun aspect to the shooter extraction shooters. It's like, this is my kit for this run. I'm going to build it out this way. I'm going to go in and use it. We're going to see how it goes. In this game, it's like, I'm going to go in with the starter kit that it lets you buy, and I'm going to run straight to try to find somebody and kill them. And hopefully it works, because the likelihood of you going in with a starter kit and finding a better weapon is not really high unless you're getting a super lucky drop off of the really bad AI that's in the game. But that was a big gripe of mine. It felt like there was just zero variety, and that removed fun from the game for me. Visually, both maps, more so Dire Marsh, but both maps are washed out. Fog in games that are beautiful is terrible. It's terrible. Fog of War, whatever. They definitely have a Fog of War in the game. It's got a really far distance. It's there. But then they also just have general fog all over the map. Every game I've ever seen that loads in a ton of fog, that outside of like the weather mechanic, it's not just a weather mechanic, it's just on the map, makes the game look like shit. It looks like trash. That's gotta go. That will make the game look so much better right off the rip, just removing it. The PvE, I mentioned it for a second, fighting the bosses and the AI, they're all the exact same. They all get stunned when you shoot them in the head. It is extremely boring. The loot isn't exciting because it's like, I can get this or this piece off of a purple mob. All the poopy mobs are worthless outside of if I need ammo or something. I get it's the alpha. It's what I expect, but that is a major thing once again with Tarkov. There's different specific bosses on different maps that fight out different ways. Some are way harder than others. Some have more ads than others. It seems like right now there's just a bunch of points that can spawn AI that are there to annoy you more than anything. I don't like that. Like having stuff simply there to annoy the people that are PvPing is weird to me, and I'm pretty sure no one likes it. It's just so basic and boring and pointless that they need to limit the amount of AI, so it isn't just constant AI waves everywhere. Like it might be in one point you have that, but everywhere shouldn't have it. The bosses should be more unique, harder to kill, cooler, more special. They all shouldn't look the same. Once again, I get it's an alpha. This is stuff I expect them to change over the next months or year or whatever. Let's just hope they do. The time to kill in the game. At first, I didn't have a problem with it, but the more I played, the more I realized the time to kill is based on the weapon you have, not the enhancements, not the upgrades, at least in this alpha. It's the specific type of weapons you have. I found one of the blast cannons, one of the snipers that charges up, it one-shots at like half charge on a green shield, which most people don't even have green shields. The HPRs, the HPRs, whatever, they'll 2-tap, and they're very easy to kill with. Really, outside of those two, there's good ARs and stuff you can use, but those are all scaling up based on attachments and weapons you have. Those two weapons, really the shotgun, mainly the HPR for me. If you find a white HPR, you can just roll a lobby and just insta-kill. The time to kill is insanely high. while the time to kill and everything else is lower. Then if you're solo queuing, which is a big thing with Tarkov, by the way, I don't think people acknowledge that Tarkov is played by people single queue, duo queue, trio queue, 4Q, 5Q, right? In Tarkov, it's one tap kills. So a singular person could roll up on a 5-man and potentially win that 1v5. It is so unlikely in this game for you to 1v3. I mean, it happens when people are bad, but if you take capable teammates against someone who's insanely good, those capable teammates of 3 are more than likely going to shit stomp the solo. It's just very difficult. So time to kill would help that. It would help individual performance and like accomplishment. Like I killed somebody, you know, I one clipped somebody, whatever. I don't know how that would play out. I know a lot of people have talked about time to kill going down. I think it should go down, but probably not a ton. And then you're going to have to find some other way to balance out how long it takes to kill somebody once they have weapons balance, because weapons, clearly the damage is all over the place. The last really thing I didn't like, that like bugged me a bit, is the way the black market was set up. So most of the stuff in the black market, when it's unlocked, you can buy it with credits, so like money. But if you enhance it, it seems like it adds an upgrade to it, but the upgrade then costs materials and credits to buy, and materials are so valuable to leveling up the upgrades within the factions that it doesn't make sense to me that for you to buy a kit isn't like early game. It should just be credits, and then once you get later on, it should be hard to find, not meaning hard to find, but materials that you need to stack up a bunch of to do trades, and it should just be trades. It makes no sense for early game to have trades and credits, and late game to have trades and credits but upgrade. It's weird. Make it simple for the early game. This game is very clearly easier to get into for new players. This game is immensely easy for new players to just jump into and play the game and have some fun. Compared to Tarkov, you're a new player, you're probably gonna hate yourself for the first 200, 300, 400 hours, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 1,000 hours. A lot of my friends, I say around like 1,800 hours is where you start to feel like you're kind of decent or good, depending on your skill level, obviously. So that's another thing I hope they change the black market. Now to the good stuff. There's a lot I liked with this game. Those are just like the micro small things. This game has some of the best bones of any closed alphas, which is, they're supposed to be truly closed and no content at first, that I've seen in a long time. The progression in the game is awesome. If you watch people who play almost any style of game that requires like questing to level up and get ahead, they usually have found some way to min max and just power farm it, where they're doing like 4 or 5 quests in one run of Tarkov, or you know, they're going in a dungeon or somewhere in some other type of game and they're just getting it all done right away. In this game, you can do 1 quest per run. Now with this game, you can get into a run and get out way faster than any extraction shooter I've ever played. So it is possible to just power run, but you're not in that boat of like, oh, this guy knows exactly where to go, knows to do this, so he's just way faster than me. The game kind of helps you. It tells you where to go. It makes things a lot easier, and it makes it so you can either be on the map the whole time for a whole run or in and out in like 5 minutes, which is cool. So I like that part of the progression. I also like the part of the progression where you get to pick and choose, like, this is the upgrade I want here. You know, I got these mats, I can choose this one or this one. I can get more space. I really like that, especially since it is slowed down and it's 1 run, 1 quest at a time. I think it's awesome. The impact of upgrades, you feel it right away. Instantly, you have no space. We were full. Our vault, our bank, whatever, was full right away. So we instantly rushed to do the upgrades that gave us more space. Being able to pick and choose, and then feeling that impact right away and how it impacts either the game or looting and everything else is great. It's a really, really good system. The gunplay in general is fun. I would say the movement I don't really like. It needs changes, but the bones of it are good. Like, there's a built-in slide. It's a horrible slide. Once they tweak it and make it useful, it'll be awesome, right? Like, really, really good bones. Looting, fairly simple. The locked rooms have usually a pretty good stuff in it. The locked boxes, meh stuff. And then everything else is pretty low tier, but you might RNG pull something decent. Same with killing AI, usually pretty meh, but you might RNG loot something decent. Fighting and in the good parts of the map, the areas that are, I guess, POIs, like the actual POIs on the map, if you're fighting in them, it's very fun. The different layers of the buildings, the lower ground that almost everywhere has, the stuff that can be used to move around behind is awesome. The open parts of the map I don't like. It's way too open in most of the other parts. Like, it's POI, open space, POI, open space. That's not really how you want it. Granted, traversing that area in this game is a lot different than a lot of the other extraction shooters, So maybe it doesn't need that much stuff in the way, or for you to hide behind, or for you to, you know, move behind, but it feels weird just looking out in like open areas of maybe some trees or something. It might be more terrain changes, up, down, you know, adding some verticality to the terrain. I don't know. I will say I didn't like it. That was just something I had to acknowledge, because I really did like fighting in the POIs. I liked grenades in this game being very valuable. They might be a little too strong, maybe toning down their space or whatever, because chem nades are really good. Regular nades are really good. Claymores are okay. Like if you're running through buildings and stuff, they're good, but they're really easy to see, and they're not something I'd prioritize. But like just the impact of the different types of explosives is awesome. The character abilities, I love the cooldowns, where if you can't just spam them. I hate people are like, this is a hero shooter. This is not a hero shooter. This is an extraction shooter where your characters have one or two abilities that you'll use one every 5 minutes and one every other couple minutes. It is not you spamming abilities, and I like that. Some of the abilities, obviously they said you're gonna be able to like almost pick and choose with your upgrades. Like you might be able to take away an ability and put in a different ability from a different character, because there are classes in this, which is pretty cool too. So we don't know what the late game looks like in terms of abilities, but I like in general the way the abilities are at the start. I think it's pretty cool. It doesn't feel like a hero shooter at all. It just feels like you got some abilities that can be really useful for fights if you're using them at the right times. I saw a lot of complaints about character customization. This is an alpha. I did not expect that at all, meaning like, you know, changing your helmet color and this and that. Obviously adding that in, probably in a way that can make them some money with microtransactions, makes a ton of sense. It'll be cool once they do it. It is not a priority to me. It is not something that makes the gameplay better. I really hope they just focus on the gameplay. That I've seen that so much. I've seen a bunch of stuff about the game. People talking about it should have a zone closing, coming from a VR player. No, it shouldn't. Not at all. People are saying they couldn't find anyone to fight. If we were prioritizing going to POIs where, you know, better loot would be, we were getting into 2 and 3 and 4 team fights every single time. And I'm assuming there's some type of matchmaking, because we were playing against people that I knew, like higher tier Tarkov streamers. We played against some of the Destiny 2 PvP guys that are really, really good a couple times. Played against Shroud. So maybe it's just in the lower beginner games, the matchmaking, people don't know where to go, so it's not happening. In the higher games, it's at once people realize, hey, we want to go here. There were one fight I was in, I got shot by 6 different players. It wasn't just 2 teams. It was 3 teams and 6 different people down me. It was ridiculous. The fights can be very, very fun once you get into the higher, no, I won't even say skill. Once you know what's going on, the fights become very, very fun in this game. I just can't wait to see what they do over time, how they enhance the game, how they change it, how they take the feedback. A lot of games will do this, take feedback from the players. I mean, there's a Discord for feedback. They're looking at Twitter, they're in streams. I see the devs, they're taking the feedback. This has happened before where the devs implemented none of it. They just think they know better. As long as they don't do that, I don't think they will do that here. It seems like they're really interactive and taking into account what the community thinks. We're gonna be good with this game. This game is gonna be literally a top game. I can't see it not. It's an easier game to follow, especially from a viewer perspective, than a game like Tarkov or something where it's kind of slow and boring. This game, it feels like there's stuff going on all the time. Maybe that is because there's so much AI. I don't know. The visuals on the game are weird, and people say they don't like them, but then once you kind of just watch the game, like you're just watching to see what the gameplay is like, you realize the visuals are actually pretty solid. They're easy to see where players are. Everything is unique in its own way. It just makes the viewing experience better, in my opinion. So outside of just the gameplay bones, I think the visual bones are what they should be. I believe people wanted it to be almost like a realistic, like Tarkov meets Halo, instead of they went fun. They have like blocky weapons in this and stuff. It looks almost like Minecrafty, futuristic Minecrafty. At first I was questioning it, same as other people. I like it now. It just feels like it matches what they're going for right now. I bet you over time things completely change, which will be fine. So those are my takes on Marathon. I'm interested to see what everyone else is thinking. I know a lot of people didn't get to play the game. There were not, I assumed more codes were going out than were. I don't think a lot of codes went out for people to play in this closed alpha, probably as they wanted it. So I guess we'll see more when the beta drops and people can actually buy in and everyone can get access that wants it, what the player base looks like and how people are really feeling, because they can play the game rather than watch it. But I am interested in what people are thinking right now. If anyone else had other things they want changed or feel like they could upgrade really easily in terms of the devs, I'd love to know what those are. So drop those in the comments, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in the video later tomorrow, the next day, and the next day.